terrifying. It's the Ghoul Kids Club. You should be running, yeah, Justin's a monster, and Aimee eats worms in the Ghoul Kids Club. Ghoul Kids Club.
Hey, boils and ghouls. Welcome to the Ghoul Kids Club. The final Ghoul Kids Club of the season.
Is the final chapter? Part 3, the final chapter?
Yeah. But we will be back, don't worry.
Oh, well, nothing's dead. Nothing that's dead ever stays dead, you know?
That's what I learned from movies.
That's what I've learned from every horror franchise ever.
Hey, this is the Ghoul Kids Club podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Justin.
Well, I'm your other host, Aimee.
And that's us, and we're the ghouls. And this is...
and America's favorite siblings.
America's favorite ghouls.
We've really not mentioned that. I don't want anyone to forget.
It is a one-note joke. So...
that we will keep hammering into the ground.
Yes, yeah. We're going to beat that dead horse.
Yeah, obviously.
So, it's Halloween. It's
Halloween.
It is the time when we really shine. I feel like I'm my best self.
It's
right
our
now.
time.
It's been a tough month, but
I was gonna say, are you?
No, I'm far from it this year, but generally I am.
Yeah.
My powers are at their strongest.
Now, nothing catastrophic has happened. Let's be clear. It's
since the last catastrophe that we talked about.
The literal catastrophe. But it has been trying for you, hasn't it?
It's been a tough month. But this podcast has been honestly more than just about anything gotten me into the spooky mood.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying that on our last one that Home Improvement really helped.
It's still true because today we don't have a specific. Well, we do have a topic. But not in the traditional sense. It's the Ghoul Kids Club Halloween special, which I feel like we always have to have a Halloween special. We should have been doing this a long time ago. But,
yeah.
What the hell does that mean? What's the Ghoul Kids Club? Are we gonna have? Is this like a variety show? In a sense, are the Osmonds gonna come out and sing a song or something?
Well, TBD.
Okay.
I was thinking like a Sonny and Cher. But Sonny's dead, so you'll have to.
Are we gonna do a duet?
Yes, I'm gonna come out. You won't be able to see me, but just know I'm gonna come out, and then I'm gonna tear away one outfit for a reveal of another cooler outfit underneath, a la Cher.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, what we're gonna do on this inaugural Halloween special. We have a very fun topic for this, and this is gonna be one of our chatty, loose episodes. We're loose. We're running fast and loose.
It's after work. I haven't eaten dinner. Let's do this.
I just had several spoonfuls of peanut butter because I was hungry. And
so you're fueled entirely by the peanut butter right now.
I'm fueled entirely by some crunchy Jif.
Good choice.
But also, I did have to drink quite a bit of water, though, because I didn't really think about the Mr. Ed of it all. And how I was getting ready to do a podcast, and I had just had quite a bit of peanut butter.
You need the mouth dexterity, and peanut butter really kind of gums up the works.
It really gummed up the works, so yeah, having to keep
regardless,
a nice wet mouth.
Oh Jesus, no,
that's not even the most. That's
the worst thing I've ever heard you say. I hated it so much. I wish I could stab myself in the ears with an ice pick.
Guys, it took 93 episodes. He's finally just going to call it.
You finally broke me.
I did. I thought we would reach this point like 48.
No, I can't do this anymore.
All right, let's switch. Let's
please move past it.
Let's get into some less horrifying topics, and that would be haunted attractions.
I feel like have a lot of haunted attraction stories between the two of us over the years.
Literally, I was like, well, I have just 6, just me or something. But yeah, well, as you can imagine, we've been to quite a few haunted attractions in our day. We're old, and also we like we like spooky things.
Yeah, haunted attractions are one of the best things to do during spooky season. I'm a big fan. I love I love a haunted house. I love like a haunted corn maze.
Which do you prefer? Like, what's your preferred? Do you like a haunted forest? Do you want a haunted hayride?
I mean, I've certainly been to the most haunted houses.
Okay.
I do like the vibe of a corn maze. I like the being outside of it.
Okay.
And you know, it's chilly and fall, and maybe they're serving some cider or something
And
like
maybe
that.
you'll be killed.
Maybe I'll be murdered.
Maybe
It's
you'll
fine.
be murdered. But what a way to go.
But I mean, I've certainly been to the most houses.
Okay.
Certainly, the most like indoor haunt type of thing.
Yeah. Is there anything? Well, I know you've never been to Halloween Horror Nights, so would that be like the pinnacle of all haunted attractions that you've never done?
I would say so. Yeah, that and like a different vibe, but like I would like to do like Not Scary Farm.
Yeah.
I believe Cedar Point does a Halloween thing. I would like to try to go to one day.
Good. I just did the Mickey's Not So Scary this year.
Yes.
I'm sure you would enjoy that.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed it had I been invited.
It was a girls' trip. It was just for the Goyles. Yeah. April went and Justin was a little sad. It was,
That's fine. I don't like Halloween or anything.
it's not your favorite holiday.
It's not like a decent chunk of my personality.
Tent pole of your personality.
That's
or
fine.
anything.
That's fine. I didn't even want to go. I didn't want to go at all.
I've disgusted him and I've deeply hurt him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In one episode.
We are 8 minutes in.
Yeah. It has not. Well. 92 episodes and 8 minutes. So really,
okay.
It should have come sooner. Yeah, we're going to talk about our history with haunted attractions.
And what a history.
Now you have two people who have very differing feelings about haunted attractions and have very different reactions to haunted attractions.
An attraction reaction?
An attraction. That's correct. I will allow you all to determine who you think is which, but one of us loves them, and one of us really can't handle it.
Well, obviously, you're the wuss, and
Yes.
you have probably more stories than I do, despite the fact that you can't handle it. You keep
really can't.
going back. Why do you
haven't
keep
been
doing
in
it?
years, actually. Well, do you want to start with some of the ones from when we were younger and work our way up?
Yeah. There are
okay.
a couple I remember, certainly from our childhood. I remember the fall festival at our elementary school, and I remember our dad specifically having a big hand in putting that together, and that was he was in his element, you know.
Yes.
When he's like peeling grapes for eyeballs. Putting cold, wet spaghetti in a bowl for guts.
Yep. Yes, I remember that for sure. And I remember only going through it because I knew that Dad had worked on it. And he was like, it's okay, it's not, it's not real, it's not... And it was a elementary school fall festival haunted house. So, like, nothing was jumping out at us. It was more just like, ooh, spooky. And then it was, you'd reach your hand in.
You put your hand in the thing. And
eyeball, so it wasn't like...
It's the best kind of haunted house.
Oh, yeah. Where you're just maybe touching things you don't know what they are. Actually, I hate that.
I hate all of this so much.
Now, there's a great photo of us from that fall festival with some childhood friends of ours.
I'm pretty sure we've posted on social media before, but we'll certainly post it again.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely post it again.
I'm in my cowboy outfit. I'm a
sharpshooter.
Yeah, I'm a dude. On the ranch.
And I was a hula girl.
That's right.
And I think I had on like a floral one-piece bathing suit and a lei and a little grass skirt. Just a classic cultural appropriation costume.
A good look.
That one was a good one. Now, there was a party. We didn't have a ton of we weren't like the house that had parties. Like, we would have little birthday things, but it would be like 3 or 4 little friends for a couple hours. Everybody goes home. But when we were getting ready to move from Florida to Tennessee, you were in 5th grade and I was in 3rd, and it was around Halloween time. We moved in November, and our parents decided that it would be a good idea to have, and it was, to have a going away party / Halloween party, kind of where both of us, we all got to invite all of our friends and have a Halloween costume party at our house. And I have very, very good memories of that. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, yeah.
And our dad, we had like a portable shed, like from Home Depot or something, right? See if I'm remembering it correctly.
Yeah,
like in our backyard.
We had one of the big sheds in the backyard, which
And
I fell through the ramp that one time and messed my leg up real bad.
That's right. There was like a little ramp built into it, and our dad turned that into a haunted house that all the kids could go through.
Mm-hmm. It was a neighborhood Halloween party.
It was. So we had our neighbor friends and our friends from school. And I, of course, was younger. And so my memories are spotty. And I wonder if you have any better memories of that party that you could share. What do you really remember from that?
You know, not a ton of specifics. I remember the shed being a haunted house. Mm-hmm. I remember there being games. I remember Dad's project was like the shed, putting together a little spooky haunted house thing to go through, and Mom's part of it was putting games together, and we had a bunch of different like word searches, and there was like a pin the tail on the donkey, but it was something Halloween themed, obviously.
Yes. And
just a lot of like not scattergories, but kind of like scattergory. Just simple little games that any kid can play.
And then, of course, little prizes and
little
stuff.
Prizes. There were like little prize packs, goodie bags for everyone. You know, you had to get a goodie bag.
I'm sure, obviously, because she was an adult when she did. She probably remembers more than we do. So we'll have to tap her about that.
And that was kind of our last great hurrah in Florida. Before we moved, you know.
Well, that was the last time anything was good in life ever. Well, we had a few more years till 9/11, and then everything downhill from there.
That's the real.
This was our last hurrah before we moved, so it was really special, and it was our favorite holiday, so it was like extra special.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's always stuck out to me. That's not a thing they had to do.
No.
At all. And
no, not at all.
It wasn't either of our birthdays. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't anything. You know.
And I'm sure that cost money
Halloween.
that we didn't have, and I'm sure it was stressful to have 15 kids at our house.
When you're getting ready to move out of state.
And
but I'll always remember that.
Yes. So. I hope our mom's listening and knows that was a very we're very happy that they did that, because we still talk about it and remember it.
And anything as we are soon to learn, anything scarier than a backyard shed put together by our father with peeled grapes for eyeballs, you cannot handle. Anything past that level of scary, you like devolve.
It's shocking, because I've talked on here before about when I was a kid, I was a huge scaredy cat. So it really wasn't until it was like is it immersion therapy, you know, like if you're scared of snakes, they like throw you in with them. It was essentially just like years of, you know, you showing me horror movies, and I
never showed you any movies against your will.
No, but you get
I
to be
going out of my way
to
scare you.
You get to be middle school, high school, and like, what do you do at sleepovers? You're gonna watch something scary, right? You're gonna go go down to Blockbuster and rent something scary. So
damn right,
I wasn't gonna be that kid that was like, I'm too scared, because I don't get made fun of. So you eventually start to, just
you build up your tolerance.
You build up your tolerance. Now, I didn't like it. I didn't start liking horror movies until I was like 17, 18. And then that has only grown. Now, I've always loved Halloween. Always loved Halloween. Yeah. But as far as tolerance to scary things, that has grown as an adult. And so that's why one of these haunted attractions really sticks out in my mind as being perhaps where the real trauma began for me.
This was a full... I love how I just know the one you're talking about, because you had pretty much a full mental break.
Yes. And I have not recovered.
You've never been the same. Your personality changed that night.
Justin, I could have been a totally different person.
Yeah. You could have been successful. Sorry, I saw that opening for a burn and I had to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have been a success. I could have cured cancer.
You could have been a contender.
I could have been a contender. Who knows what I could have been capable of?
If not for that one night at the Stony Creek Volunteer Fire Department.
Justin, that's not even the one I'm talking about. The
nursing home. You're not talking about... Okay, that's hilarious. So there's two mental breaks.
There's two.
That's right. Okay.
The trauma began at the nursing home.
The nursing home.
It was solidified at the Stony Creek Rescue Squad.
Let me tell you what. A nursing home, it's a weird place to have a haunted house, but an underrated place to have a haunted house. That to this day is still one of the scariest haunted houses like I've ever been in.
First of all, and now I have talked with our mom about this, so I don't think I'm misremembering. The residents were in it. They were in the haunted house. Now, can you imagine? Yes. I know you can because you went there.
I was there.
But to the listeners, can you imagine going to a haunted house at a nursing home? And I'm not talking it's the people that work there, although I'm sure they were a part of it. The residents are a part of the house and they're scaring you.
That's so magical when I think about it.
It's so fucked up.
I love it. I love it.
I've got to ask Mom if she remembers which one it was, like where it was or whatever. I don't know how old we were. I feel like I was probably 5 or 6. That's how it feels in my head. All I remember is there's one part where we are taken into a large room and there are...
This is still the greatest room of any haunted house I've ever been in, I think.
And there are a bunch of couples dancing, kind of like, old ballroom dancing. It's supposed to say.
No, it's very, it was just the one couple.
It was just one?
It was an empty room that looked like a ballroom, and it had
there were a few.
The creepy, old-timey, The Shining sort of dance, big band music playing.
Midnight with the stars
and one couple.
Okay.
An old man and an old woman who were painted up to look even older and deader.
Oh my God.
And they were dressed in their fine, evening attire. And they're just slow dancing. And they're coming right up to you.
Oh my God.
And they're just looking at you. That's the whole room. There isn't a jump scare. There isn't there isn't any blood. There isn't any noise outside of the music. But it was so fucking terrifying.
That's fucking so scary.
They just get closer to you. And you're trying to get out of the way, and they would swing away from you for a second, and then they're back.
They were
and they're up in your space.
Oh my God. And I can just remember being up against the wall, freaking out. Now, we went with our friends, our family friends, and my friend Eric and I, we were the same age. We were sobbing. We were sobbing at the end of this haunted house. It fucked us up.
It was an intense... do you remember the sacrifice?
No, the only thing I remember is the room with the dancing old couple.
That's the only thing you remember? This was an intense fucking haunted house for being geared toward little kids, and it's at a nursing home.
Like, imagine you're taking your kids to a trunk or treat, and there's just, like, a sacrificial, like
they had a scene in this haunted house that was like an organ, like an organist playing, and it was like a satanic ritual. And then this lady comes in and she's screaming, and they pretend to sacrifice her. Like they put her on like a slab and like raise the big blade up and bring it down, and she's screaming and all this, and I'm like, what is happening?
Is where the trauma began. I could have been
I could have been a Nobel Prize winner.
I am broken from this haunted house.
I can't blame you though. Like thinking back on it, like what the hell? You're like was
that
happening?
That was too much.
And then I remember going out of it because it was not just the haunted house; it was like a whole Halloween party, and they had like a room. What it was. A room full of games, and of course you had residents also who were kind of working the games, and they're all
like go around to the different rooms and like trick or treat. Trick or treat and stuff,
and they were of course they're in costume and all of that.
Eric and I
just
were
remember it
sobbing.
being such a stark difference to like you start out in like the room with your trick or treating, and there's pumpkins and black cats, and this old lady is dressed like a clown, and this guy is dressed like a hobo. And then you go into the haunted house, and it's just like a fucking
the scariest thing any human being's
nightmare
ever seen.
For 10 minutes, and then you're back, and it's like you want a balloon.
No, but we had to go home. Do you remember we had to go home?
Yes.
After that.
So another memory I have from this haunted house, which is not a fun memory. I remember I had a balloon. Me mentioning the balloon just reminded me. And we went outside. I don't remember what happened first. I remember I was really a little shit to an old lady who was being super nice to me.
Just were?
For like 2 seconds. She was just like trying to do, give me a piece of candy or something. And I was just like, I was so mad. And I think it was because I had lost my balloon. Because I had a balloon and we had gone outside and I let go of it.
Oh.
And I just remember standing there watching it float up to the streetlights and up into the sky and away.
And that's where your trauma began.
I just threw a little hissy fit.
Oh.
And I remember being mean to this lady and feeling so bad immediately afterwards that was like one of the defining things besides the old ghost people dancing of that.
Did you remember the guilt of?
Yes, I remember the guilt of being mean to that lady for 2 seconds, and how bad I felt about it.
Oh,
and I'm still
she's dead now. She probably died later that night. She may have been dead then. With that haunted house, she could have been dead then.
You think Justin I killed her?
Probably. No, I think she was.
Oh my god, I got a lot of stuff coming back now.
That's the night when the veil is the thinnest, and maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was dead to begin with.
Well, that would be better because at least I didn't kill her.
No, you probably killed her.
I hate you. Why are you like this?
Justin, the trauma.
And
I mean, that word
that's
is
what this episode is going to end up being.
In this instance, I mean it.
Yeah, that's what this episode's going to end up being. It's just working through some trauma.
I'm glad you remember more of it, because in my memory, it's just that. See, I thought it was a bunch of people, but you're right. It was one couple, and they would just swing down into your face, and fucking terrifying.
Not saying anything, just looking dead.
Just looking dead with that goddamn shining.
Not an expression. And that even, because that would have been even before I saw The Shining. My fear of creepy old timey big band music.
Here's the thing.
That's the origin.
No shade to old people, but particularly when you're a little kid, old people can be scary.
Yes.
Just innately. I don't know if it's, we innately fear death and they're close to it. I don't know what it is, but they're kind of creepy. So like the idea of, it's genius. The idea of a haunted house at a nursing home. But they didn't have to do much. They did not have to do much.
But they did not have to go that hard. They went so hard.
Oh my God, they went so hard. Do you think that got shut down eventually? Because that
had to be some kind of complaints going on.
Satanic sacrifices every night. I mean, those were real. I'm convinced.
Look, all I know is that we are still talking about it. And
it made quite an impact on me.
Quite the impression. That was just like one of those formative moments. Yeah, let's move on because this was the first of your mental breaks. Was in that one, but I already mentioned the Stony Creek Volunteer Fire Department, which is after we moved to Tennessee.
So
this required a whole stopping of the tour.
Let me
be clear. The event ground to a halt and the lights came on.
No, hang on. I have more of a memory of this. Now, I'm just to give like an idea. I don't know. I'm maybe 10-ish, and you're 12, and our dad takes us to we've moved to Tennessee already. He takes us to a haunted house, at a local rescue squad, volunteer fire hall, something like that. And they're doing it up big, which a lot of places around here, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but there's not a lack of haunted attractions in our area.
It's a point of pride.
It is a point of pride. So we went to this, and I probably hadn't been to one since the traumatic nursing home of 93 or whenever that was.
You were like, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm a big girl now.
Well, I'm like, and again it was like, well, I wanted to go because you and Dad were going. It was like, I don't want to be the lame-o who's can't handle it,
But
well,
you
I
were.
couldn't, but I was. So we go in, and
you ruined this.
Now
you ruined my evening.
I'm so sorry. I had to be taken out.
Yeah. Pretty early on, too.
Well, now how I remember it was not that I had to be taken out.
No, you did.
There was a point where we stopped right before we were going into another, kind of I don't know if we were maybe midway. I remember going through the room, and then we were getting ready to go to a part that was particularly extra scary, and they stopped us, and there was a guy leading us through who's dressed as the Grim Reaper, and I remember it being basically, if anyone wants to leave before this point, and I'm like, me, I want to leave. So it wasn't like I was being hysterical and they had to take me out because of it. I mean, I was freaking out. But they gave you the option. They were like, if anybody wants to leave, and of course I'm the only one who wants to leave. So I don't remember them turning the lights on.
To our family.
I did. I did bring shame to our family.
You besmirched our honor. You keep going, man. You keep going.
But I don't remember them turning the lights on.
I mean, maybe I'm making that up, but that's what it felt like.
Oh, it shone a light on our family.
It did. And then I had to be the guy whose sister stopped the whole tour so they could come and escort her out.
I did not stop the whole tour.
Yes, you did. We had to stop
the tour was already stopped.
And they had to send a guy to come get you.
That's what it was.
And we all had to wait.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Because then they just sent some other guy who's also in a terrifying costume, and I had to go outside alone with him.
Also, terrifying costume. I guarantee you that he bought it at Walmart.
Yeah, but I'm 10 and I don't know that.
Exactly, you're 10. You should know more. You should know better.
It's just a strange man with a mask on, and I remember going out. We literally went outside, into the parking, and had to walk around the building. And he took the mask off when he got outside. He's like, "It's all right. I'm just, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we just chatted, walked around the building. But no, I had to be escorted out of the Stony Creek Rescue Squad haunted house.
And shockingly, that's the last time I was ever welcome in the Stony Creek Volunteer Fire Department.
They had a photo of us on the wall for a while, right? We weren't allowed back.
Yeah, I was like, we passed a bad check. Do not let her in the haunted house. She thinks she can handle it, and she can't handle it.
And she can't. She can't do it.
Not even close.
Much like every attraction I went to after that, I could not handle it. Now those are the ones that I really remember from, like, my youth. Do you have some more that you remember going to, like, in middle and high school?
Just sort of local. I don't have any really funny stories. Like, I remember going
because I wasn't there, so how good could it have been?
Right. I mean, I remember going to ones just in the area, like little... There's something just so wonderfully charming about, like, a little redneck haunted house that's like some volunteer fire department or something, or some Elks Lodge or something that's, like, rented a space and they're running a haunted house community for charity, or a nursing home where they're sacrificing the young to keep to give them to further their lives. Like, we watched an actual young woman get sacrificed. Yeah, because they were trying to steal our life force.
They were. Well, I only had like 6 years.
Yeah.
So, like, what was I giving them?
Not much. No, I remember going to little ones. Now, I do remember, so back in, this would have been college the first time.
Yeah, sure.
Early mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Going to my favorite haunted house that I've ever been to.
Ooh, okay.
Which is I looked it up earlier in preparation for this episode, and unfortunately it is permanently closed. It ran for years.
Yeah.
But it was Hacker House. It's called Hacker House.
That's right. Was that over in North Carolina?
It's in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
There we go. Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, is the town that Mayberry was based on.
That's right.
The Andy Griffith Show.
There was no Hacker House in Andy Griffith Show.
No. So I remember this is Mount Airy's really it's like sort of, it's outside of Winston-Salem, if you know where that is, but it's really out in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's still, I think, the only time I've ever been down that way.
Okay.
But we get off the interstate, and this is also before GPS. You know, so we had
this was even like kind of pre-MapQuest.
No, I feel like we had MapQuest.
Oh,
probably.
You had the
we had some
printed
out directions, I would imagine, but that was it. And like, if we had a cell phone in the car, it was a little flip phone. It was like a little flip phone from like 2004.
And you did not have service.
No. So we get there, and it's this little town, and I remember eating at this weird Hardee's for dinner, and we couldn't find the place. And we asked the people working at Hardee's, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we can tell you where to go. You go down here, and you go down here." And so we leave, and we're going, and it's just this little 2-lane road. There's like no street lights. On either side of us is just woods. Just black woods. We're not passing any other cars.
There could be no attraction. That's scary.
They could have just like lured us into a trap. Be like, yeah, go down here and go down here, and my uncle is going to make a mask out of your face skin.
Yep.
You know?
Because that's how all of those movies start.
Yeah. So
you stop at a Hardee's, you get directions to the murder shack.
That was the Hardy Binger.
Oh, God. Oh. That felt a little shoehorned, but I liked it anyway.
If I had a few more minutes to think about it, it'd be better. Anyway.
Let's move past it.
So anyway, we're this little 2-lane road, and it's black. Black as the moonless night. And
as night, because it was night.
Black as night, because it's nighttime. Yeah. And we're like, we're going, and we're like, we can't be in the right place.
Yeah.
And finally, like, as we're getting ready to turn around, we see a little sign on the side of the road, like a hand-painted sign that says Hacker House with an arrow pointing off. And there's a gravel road.
This is the kind of shit you do when you're 20 years old, and you're like, obviously I'll follow it. Could you imagine doing that now?
I would do it now. I mean, you wouldn't, because you're a pussy.
No, I wouldn't have done it then.
Well, the Hacker House, arrow pointing this way. So we turn down this little gravel road, and now we're in the woods. Now it's a little gravel road, so
you're off-roading.
Even more narrow than, the road we were on. We're going downhill into the woods, still pitch black on either side of us, and then all of a sudden we come out in a clearing, and it's this glorious, wonderful, huge haunted attraction, and there's tons of people down there because they have like a whole big parking lot, like in this clearing.
But you didn't see like a soul on your way
from the
out
road.
there.
You can't see anything.
Yeah,
and I remember it was. I thought it was so cool because it was part indoor and part outdoor.
Oh,
so it had like a whole indoor haunted house sort of thing, and then as part of like the story they're telling, eventually you go outside and it's like more of like a corn maze thing.
Okay.
And
a twofer.
It was there were some genuinely pretty scary parts of it. I remember, the props they were using were so cool. Like this was a haunted house that had a budget. Like this wasn't Universal or Disney or one of the big major theme parks, but like they took this seriously. Like, there was a lot of work that went into this thing. Yeah. Like this wasn't just like
it wasn't
this wasn't Billy Bob from the Rescue Squad, dressed up like Pennywise.
Nothing wrong with that, of course.
Sure,
we love that too, but
this had like props and like I just remember this like creature thing. It had to have a person inside of it that was working it.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was like 12 feet tall. It was huge. Shit. And we're walking and we're outside now and it's cold and they're pumping fog in. So you're like in this corn maze thing.
Yeah.
And I just remember the walls of the maze are probably 7 feet tall. Yeah. They're fairly tall. Yeah. It's a maze. You're not supposed to be able to see over it. And you could still see this thing. Like it would you could see it come lurching over the top of the walls because it was taller, and you'd be like, no, go this way, go this way.
Oh God.
And there was I remember one of the inside scenes that had this unbelievable jump scare that was basically like a full real life-size front of a semi-truck. Oh and the scare was it's about to hit you, and it pops out of the wall at you.
Holy shit!
That's
intense.
Yeah, it was cool, and I remember they were there's a band that I used to put on for mood music, especially because I'm a nerd, and if I was playing games or something. Midnight Syndicate, they do these haunted attraction soundscape. Scores. It's like a score to a movie that isn't really a movie.
People screaming and shit.
No, not sound effects. It's music.
Oh, okay.
But I remember they were selling Midnight Syndicate CDs because Midnight Syndicate did the soundtrack for the house. Okay. And they had Midnight Syndicate merch they were selling, and I thought that was so cool. And then on the way back, my buddy Jacob. It was 5 of us packed in our friend's little Jeep and got on Interstate 85 going the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And it took us forever to get home because before we realized that we were going in the wrong direction, we were almost to Washington, D.C. We realized it was either myself or my friend Matt was we just passed a sign, and I'm pretty sure that's a town in Virginia. And we should not be in Virginia. We should be in either North Carolina or Tennessee.
Oh, my God.
And so we pull over to a rest stop, and they have the "You Are Here" map.
Yeah.
And it was you son of a bitch!
So you were just going north, and you just never got off to go west.
It's already 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right, because Winston-Salem is not close.
No.
To us.
No.
Several hours, yeah.
And so, I remember this is when I was working at Pizza, and we all worked at the pizza place together.
Yeah.
And we'd all left our cars in the parking lot, in the back parking lot of Pizza Inn, and taken one car. Yeah. And I remember getting back, and the sun was coming up. And, we were supposed to be back,
hours ago. You were supposed to be home at 1 a.m.
Yes.
Not in Virginia, almost to D.C. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I also, that was a good little trip.
Well, that's a very fun memory. Not only did you get terribly lost, but best haunted house you've ever been to.
Yeah. I mean, it was frustrating in the moment being in the car, stuck in the car for that long, and not getting home till like 6:30 in the morning. But it makes for a good story.
A good story. Again, the things we do in our youth, you know. Well, I only did a few haunted attractions in my adulthood.
Yeah.
And I've not done them in years because I can't fucking do it. I can't handle it. I can watch scary movies all day. I'm desensitized to it. There's very rarely a movie or a show that scares me to a point where, I mean, I might get scared in the moment, jump scare, but there's very few things that I would say like fuck with me. Like I think about when I'm, trying to get to sleep at night. That doesn't really happen anymore.
But Billy Bob dressed like Pennywise from the Stony Creek Rescue Squad.
I don't like to be scared in real life. I don't like it to be really happening to me, even though I logically know this is all fake.
Sure.
This is, I could work with this guy. Like, I mean, it just doesn't, my anxiety does not care that it's fake. Because the situation feels real, and that's the whole point of them, is that this feels real. And I just don't know. I can't do it.
And I think that's fun. Don't pretend to be something you're not.
Yeah. It just feels like such a, like I'm not a true lover of spooky season and Halloween because I can't do haunted attractions. But I did. We have a very popular place in our area that unfortunately has been hit very, very heavy by the flooding, but I do think they will, by next year, probably be all right again. But it's called Fender's Farm, and it is, they have for years and years had a corn maze, haunted corn maze.
Are you gonna not mention the fact that that's where you got married?
Oh, I am. I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is where Scott and I got married.
Which it was terrifying. Was and did.
It was not during spooky season. Is April home?
No, I heard something behind me, and it was the blanket sliding off the couch.
Oh.
I was just like, hello?
Hello?
Okay.
It was not during spooky season. It was during May. But yes, it's the same place. It was funny to get married at the same place where I had gone to a haunted corn maze, and they have a haunted house / barn there as well. And this would have been in college, and I did go through it one time, and I surely did pee my pants. Now, to be fair, it was not because I was scared. But as you are exiting the corn maze, someone comes and chases you with a chainsaw, obviously. And they have it set up where there is essentially a mattress on the ground. Like the ground is dug out a little bit and there's a mattress so that when you step on it, you fall. You like, ugh! And it was when I stepped on the mattress.
That seems dangerous.
I know! But the shock of it made me pee my pants. So right at the end, I peed my pants. So it wasn't out of fear. But I surely did have to ride home with... I surely did ride home with wet underwear. So that was... of course, everybody I was with thought that was just real funny.
That's pretty funny.
But there is one that really stands out from my adult life. And I don't think you've ever been to it. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. But that's Pinhead's Graveyard, and that's over in Asheville.
No, I never have. Pinhead's
Graveyard. Checked a few years ago, and it still existed. Aside from current flooding, I'm sure it does still exist. But it is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're not that far from civilization, I should say. But, like, you kind of... It's almost like you pull off and it's like a very small parking lot, like a really small overlook-sized parking lot. And you just walk into the woods. And it's just in some woods. Like, there's no... Like...
Why do we keep doing this?
I don't know.
I just walk into woods and hope I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. So I was with Jesse, of course, Jesse and Jesse's dad, Tim, and our friend Ashley. So it was the four of us, and they had, of course, talked me into doing this. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. So we drive over there, and I remember we, probably because it was just the closest place we could eat at, we ate at a Margaritaville, which doesn't exist there anymore. But we ate Weird. There, and I know. And so we're having dinner, and our waitress coming over and stuff, and we mentioned, oh, we're going to this Pinhead's graveyard, and she's like, oh my God, it's so scary. Like, my friend just did it. And I'm like, they can't touch you, right? They said, my friend said that they can't touch you, and she's like, oh no, they can touch you. And I was like, God damn it. So, so we get there, and I'm freaked out.
You're on edge.
I'm on edge. I am at a 10 out of 10 on anxiety. So you just walk into, there's like a little trail, and you just walk into the woods and check in, and
don't check out.
And don't check out. But it's essentially now, it could be different now, but this is how it was then. It's Pinhead's graveyard, of course. Pinhead from Hellraiser. So before you start, Pinhead comes out, and he like addresses your group of people.
It's just a guy dressed as Pinhead.
No, it's the real one.
Shut up!
It's the real one. And he does this little bit where it was us and like one other small group of like 3 or 4. And so he does this, little bit where basically he's like, I'm going to have to keep one of you for myself. And he has this like fake chain. Uh-huh. And of course he fucking picks me.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I'm the one who's literally like cartoon shaking. Just like, So
they look for people like you.
He puts the chain around my neck and like pulls me to him. And I'm like, God damn it, you guys. And so he's like, I have to keep her with me. And of course they're like, oh no, don't do it. And so, he's like, okay, fine, you can have her. And like throws me back to him. And I'm like, we've not even gotten in the goddamn thing yet. It's all outside. It was then at least. And so it's very cool the way it is. You have to sign something at the beginning, like a waiver, because it's like, there will be, this is a trail, but like there's tree roots everywhere. Like you need to watch your step, blah, blah, blah. If you trip and get hurt. Uh-huh. So you're just walking through a trail in the woods, and all of a sudden you'll just like hear like, and you just kind of come across, and they'll just have like a scene. Like they'll just have a little area. And Michael Myers is just there. Uh-huh. And you're just kind of coming upon him in the woods. And he's just coming right up to you with his knife and just staring at everybody. Terrifying. And then you'll kind of come out and there'll be like a Jason. And there'll be like something. And I remember the Freddy area. So it's all, of course, like all the big movie, I'm sure they've updated. You would love it. But I remember the Freddy, you come up and you can hear the music, and they've got like a trash can and just kind of some like, sort of looks like an old alley or something. Uh-huh. And they've got a big old dirty mattress with like a hole in the middle, and he jumps out of the hole in the mattress at us.
That's so cool.
Like, you're just like, oh man, this is this guy. And then it's just like, like he jumps out of the... Fucking terrifying. And now my friend Jessie loves this kind of shit, can do it all day long. And before we get in, she's like, you just can't you can't act scared, because they're gonna prey on you. They want to, if you act scared, they're gonna pick on you.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, I was fine, because the only thing Jessie's scared of is Freddy Krueger. So when Freddy Krueger came up, she was like, ah! And he fucked with her so bad that I was like, I don't even exist. This is great. And so he was like, what's your name, little girl? She's like, Jessica. And so then later on, you go to a bunch of different areas. Well, then he just pops up later on, like 4 or 5 stops later. He just pops up out of the woods and he's like, hi, Jessica. She's like, oh my God. So it was great. But it was fucking terrifying. And then, of course, they chase you out at the end. You're in, like, a big field, and you end up, like, at your cars. Again, it's kind of like a big loop, and they chase you out with chainsaws. Of course, classic. Sure. Terrifying. I think that's the last one I ever did.
Did you do any of the ones at Scarowinds?
No, I didn't do any of those.
You didn't do any of those?
No, we went to Scarowinds a few years ago, and you did like all of them.
Most of them.
I mean,
I think the one I didn't do was just because the wait was so long.
Yeah, there were like 5 of them there.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, you and Jesse and Scott all did them, and me and April hung out. Yeah. And we rode the Scrambler.
Yeah, April doesn't really do the haunted houses. We did. I have been to, I think, one. I was going to say one haunted house, but we definitely went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not haunted house.
Is that the one in Virginia Beach?
Well, the Ripley's one's in Gatlinburg, but we've been to that one together because we have one of my good friends, Matt. He works in that industry.
Okay.
And worked there for a long time. But we also went to one in Virginia Beach. The only time we've been to Virginia Beach. And it was this just wonderful, like the haunted house itself was fine. Mm-hmm. But it was the middle of summer. And it was one of these
like April or May. It was not
middle of summer, season. But okay. Thanks for undermining my story. And but it was just one of these year-round haunted attraction in a little coastal town. So I was
like a boardwalk.
I am charmed, and I'm gonna go to this haunted house. So we went, and it was fine. It was good. The real issue was, however, they have one section where they told us this beforehand.
But not after you'd bought your tickets.
Well, I don't remember that, but
okay. April was just telling the story the other day.
Oh, okay. So my wife April has a pacemaker and a defibrillator, and they're like, yeah. Do anyone have a pacemaker or anything like that? Because there's a part where there's like an electrical component, basically.
We're gonna hook you up to some fucking electrodes and shock the shit out of you.
So. There's one point and they're like, okay, it's okay. We'll tell you. We'll let you know when it's coming up, and we'll make sure you're safe. So okay, which to their credit they did.
Yeah. But you're at this point, you're like, how much faith am I going to have in this?
It takes a little bit out of the experience when you get to a point in the house, and it's kind of like we have to break the immersion. And the guy on the other side of the wall is like, okay, this wall coming up here, do not touch the right side of it. And it's this little narrow thing we're trying to squeeze our way through, and he's like, do not touch the wall.
It's almost like when your sister has to be taken out right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
it kind of breaks the illusion.
I mean, April couldn't help that.
No, April couldn't help that.
That was your thing's on you.
Yeah, my thing's on me. Correct.
So, but yeah, April's not a big haunted house goer.
Yeah. So she's now she has said recently, because we talked about it on our recent trip to Mickey's Not So Scary, that she'd love to go to Halloween Horror Nights with you, because she knows that you would want to go. And I feel like, maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like she had said, I could maybe do, some of the, because some of them aren't super, the Ghostbusters ones they have are, that's not really scary.
Right.
There's a few that I probably could handle.
Make it happen. Once that Universal Monster Park opens up.
Once that Universal Monster Park opens, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun convo.
This has been a fun convo. I hope that you all have enjoyed this. Just a little, sharing some memes. I for one don't see myself doing any other haunted attractions, unless I do something really tame. And I handled Mickey's Not So Scary. That was fine.
Yeah,
it's not so scary.
It's not so scary.
It's for children.
It's right in the name.
Yeah, it's right there. It's for children.
Do you want to do some plugs?
Oh, sure. I'd love to.
Plug it away.
If you want to listen to any of the other episodes we have done of this podcast, you can find them wherever you found this one, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you want to follow us on social medias, check us out on Instagram, Threads, X, at Cool Kids Club Pod. Justin and I are both on Instagram individually. He is at Lousy with Ghosts, and I am at Aimee with 4 H's.
We also have to shout out Brian Hey Guys Wakefield. This is the last time we'll be hearing Ghoul Kids Club theme for a while.
We're gonna put it to rest. We're gonna bury it, but don't worry.
Don't worry.
Just like at the end of Carrie.
Yep. Hand out of the grave.
Hand out of the grave. October 1 of next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, spooky season.
Spooky season. It is coming to a close, but fear not, because right on the tails of that, just hear them sleigh bells tinkling, tinkling too. So don't worry. Don't worry. This is just the beginning of the best part of the year.
Yeah, this is phase 1.
This is this is Marvel phase 1.
I hope that if you're listening to this, that you have had a wonderful spooky season. I hope you've gotten to enjoy it. Do some spooky stuff. Watch some spooky movies.
Go to some haunted attractions.
However,
I want to hear all about it. Yeah.
And I hope that you have a very an awesome and safe Halloween.
Yes.
And looking forward to all your costumes. My costume is getting delivered anytime now. It's out for delivery. So,
oh my God! Check your shop app.
So
it's out for delivery.
It may even be here. So
can't wait. We'll definitely be sure to post our costumes on the old social media.
Yeah, I got a good one this year.
You do have a good one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we say goodbye to the Ghoul Kids Club and welcome back in the Cool Kids Club, what advice would you have for the Boyles and the Ghouls?
Well, I would probably suggest they just stay ghoul.
Ooh. Happy Halloween, guys!
Midnight were the stars and you. Midnight and a rendezvous. Your eyes held a message tender, saying I surrender all my love to you.